The only thing that ate me up is when I was 30 days postpartum from a C-section. I got cut in half on a table and almost died, and got left 30 days after I gave birth to this little child right here.
So I remember hearing about this story back in July when she first posted. And if you don't know by now, Morgan is a single mother who was left 30 days after getting a C-section. Her baby daddy left her. He's also famously known as the Random Man in Atlanta. And he recently posted a video revealing himself. And I think it's amazing because she, even though she gained so much support and attraction, never really revealed who he was. She would just call him the Random Man in Atlanta. I think in his mind, he thought that he could go on the internet and possibly share a story and somehow discredit her experience. Like, he had so much entitlement and audacity and privilege that he literally thought that, oh yeah, I'm going to just go on and say this about Morgan and everyone's just basically going to take my side. And I think that's the world he literally grew up in. From my understanding, she's younger than him, and I think that's why he wanted to go for her, because he thought he could manipulate her into doing whatever it is that he wanted her to do. But you can already tell from the way Morgan presents herself that she has a lot of fight and a lot of spirit. And she just mentioned this in one of her recent videos, that he would little girl her a lot. And I think that was his attempt of trying to make her feel less than because she was maybe younger than him, and so that would excuse his bad behavior. He utilized all of her resources when it was convenient for him. She paid bills, she cooked, she cleaned, he used her car all the time. But whenever she's reclaiming her story or standing up for herself, all of a sudden she's a little girl that needs to be quiet because she doesn't know exactly what she's talking about. I hate that people are coming for Morgan or saying, oh yeah, like it's your fault, you should have vetted him, you should have done this and that. People lie all the time, and he probably lied to her. We see this in society a lot where women are often blamed for these types of situations. As a doula and student midwife who works with women who deal with postpartum, I can only imagine what she's going through. And for her to somehow still find a way to laugh about her situation is honestly so commendable. She talks about losing her milk supply because she was barely eating and she was so depressed. Postpartum isn't just a few weeks. Postpartum can go on for months. Breastfeeding is a huge depletion, and so not being able to nourish yourself enough means that you're not going to be able to nourish your baby enough. So now there's the stress of now my baby is starving and it's my fault because I can't feed her because I'm depressed. And so now you need to find a way to supplement her. When she uses supplements to help feed her baby, when she uses formula, she's shamed for doing that. Sleep deprivation is another layer that happens in postpartum naturally because the baby has a different sleep schedule than all of us. And if we add on the layer that she was left 30 days after major abdominal surgery. I want to emphasize major abdominal surgery because that's exactly what a C-section is. We just throw around C-section like it's just some little surgery. Like, you're literally taking a whole human being out of someone's abdomen and then sewing them back together. Under any other circumstance, that person isn't allowed to move for a really long period of time because it's major abdominal surgery. Now if we add the layer on that she's probably not getting enough sleep naturally because the baby has a different sleep schedule than her, and then there's a layer of her partner leaving her in such an embarrassing and harsh way, and now she's depressed and crying all the time so she can't even sleep even when it's time for her to sleep. The truth is that this happens all the time, whether you're married, whether you're single, dating, it doesn't matter. Men can pull this on you at any point in time. And her postpartum journey looks completely different than what she imagined it to be. Just to rewrite her whole entire situation and still find a way to show up for her daughter every single day. There's so many complexities to being a first-time parent, and so be able to go through something like this and to smile about it and to say, hey, this happened to me, and to connect with other women who have gone through the same journey is absolutely incredible. And the reason why the Random Man from Atlanta revealed himself is because he couldn't handle the fact that she was reclaiming her story for herself and she was gaining support from it. And his guilt ate him alive that he had to come on to Beyonce's internet and reveal who he actually was. This man expected Morgan to continue to self-sacrifice and self-sabotage on his behalf. We're constantly expected to give as women and to self-sacrifice, and anytime we want to take care of ourselves, we're shamed for it. If we add the layer of motherhood, it's even worse. If we preserve ourselves or reclaim our stories, we're selfish. If we try to embrace our sexuality postpartum, we're selfish. We've seen this with Keke Palmer, where she has glowed up and she looks absolutely beautiful postpartum, and she's reclaiming her body for herself because she's not just made for her child, but she's also made for herself. And then you see her partner getting on the internet and publicly shaming her for embracing her body and saying, look, yes, I'm a mother and I'm all of these layers as well. There's complexities to us as women. We're expected to turn off certain layers of ourselves because we are now mothers. I'm sure that this random man in Atlanta was not expecting Morgan to reclaim her story, gain traction, be able to stand on her own 2 feet and be okay. It disrupts him, it hurts him, and that's the reason why he showed up here. The goal was to continue to take that away from her because he wanted her to feel so sad, isolated, and alone, so that way when he randomly came by maybe 3 years later, after he felt like it, she would be in a place to take him back because she didn't have any self-confidence. And that's clearly not the case because she is thriving, she has so much support, and we absolutely love her. Men like this have extremely small worlds, and so when they finally step out of it and realize that we are no longer accepting that kind of behavior, we're expecting more from our men, they have no idea what to do. We are starting to decenter men, we are starting to reclaim our stories, our bodies, our voices, and it's so beautiful, but it can honestly be so scary and disruptive to men like this. So Morgan, keep shining your light, and we're here to support you in any way that you need.